Pixel Watch 2 is here with a new heart rate sensor, stress detection, safety features, more workout tools, a more efficient processor, and improved battery life. And while it all sounds like the makeup of a great Android Wear OS watch, I think it's important we back up for a minute. Compared to Samsung and Apple, Google is still a newbie in the smartwatch space. Last year was the first year it truly threw a hat into the ring with the Google Pixel Watch. Now, I spent a lot of time with the first generation Pixel Watch, and overall, I walked away impressed. More than once, I called it a very good first attempt, saying it might not be a perfect smartwatch, but it is the smartwatch that Pixel smartphone users have been waiting for. I specifically recall having a more positive outlook on the Pixel Watch than some other reviewers. I followed up with specific shortcomings that I think Google should have addressed with the second generation model, especially if the company wanted to target those holdouts from the original and justify the $350 price tag. And now here we do have the Pixel Watch 2. And it's not exactly what I was hoping for. When I first got details about the Pixel Watch 2, I'll go as far as to say that I was disappointed. That's because there were two key things I saw as hurdles to Pixel Watch adoption, and both of them had to do with design, and both of them seemed like achievable changes. First, Google is still only offering one size of the Pixel Watch. It's 41 millimeters. I said it then, and I'll say it now. I think for larger wrists, there needs to be a bigger size option of the Pixel Watch, no doubt about it. For some people, it's about preference. For some people, it's about comfort. For some people, it's just about actually wanting to be able to see as much information as possible without having to squint or hold your wrist up to your face. Seeing as much information as possible brings me to my second disappointment, and that is the display bezels. Compared to the original Pixel Watch, it looks virtually unchanged, meaning, once again, a large portion of the display on the Pixel Watch is basically unusable. Of course, I couldn't just write off the Pixel Watch 2 because of the design, which, for the record, isn't really that bad. It's a nice, minimalistic looking smartwatch. And Google did make some changes to the chassis. It's now 100% recycled titanium, the glass is supposed to be more durable, and there are also some new bands. I really like this Active Sport one, even if it's pretty much a copy of the Apple Watch Nike Sport Band. And there definitely are some other silver linings, even if they're mostly new features that other smartwatches have had for a while, like automatic workout tracking, heart rate zones, stress detection, and a battery life that actually lasts a full day with the always-on display enabled. There's even a new feature that isn't on a lot of other smartwatches. It's called Safety Check, and it now joins the Personal Safety app with emergency SOS and fall detection. With Safety Check, I can set an activity and timer estimating when I might expect to arrive at my location or complete the activity. And I can send an alert to my emergency contact about my plans. So the season has changed. It's getting darker earlier now, and I have a feeling that by the time I get off the subway and start walking home, it's gonna be dark. So I'm gonna set a safety check. I should be home in 30 minutes, and if I don't check in within 30 minutes, then my emergency contact's gonna get a notification saying that I might need help. If there's a situation where I'm unexpectedly and urgently concerned for my well-being, I can just hit emergency sharing in the moment. I have made it close enough to home, I should say, and it's saying that if I don't log my check-in within 53, 52 seconds, my emergency sharing will kick in for the emergency contact I have preset. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end this safety check. I can't even tell you how much peace of mind these kind of smartwatch features bring me. It's one of the reasons I love the Siren feature on the Apple Watch Ultra, but this really ups the ante for taking personal well-being seriously. Mental well-being is also a greater focus on the Pixel Watch 2, and the more time I've spent with it, I'm feeling more grateful that the skin temperature reader and continuous electrodermal activity reader from the Fitbit Sense 2 were carried over to this watch. I looked back and actually did say one way the Pixel Watch 2 could catch up would be to get the electrodermal activity readings on the Fitbit Sense that can tell when you're stressed, adding that the sensor would give you as a user more thorough health data through Fitbit. On my wrist, Fitbit will tell me if it detects I'm stressed or experiencing a shift in my mood. It then prompts me to log how I'm feeling, and depending on my answer, give me advice on how to manage it. I can view my moods in my weekly summary reports that are pretty ubiquitous across the entire Fitbit experience, including sleep tracking and activity. Now, you do still need a Fitbit Premium membership to make the most of your Pixel Watch 2. And next year, with a new generative AI feature, you'll even get to be able to get deeper insights into how your different points of health data impact how you're feeling and moving. So if the question is whether the Pixel Watch 2 is a more ambitious wellness tracker than the original Pixel Watch, I have to say yes. The Pixel Watch 2 gets some standard workout conveniences that I think a lot of people would be surprised to know weren't available for the first version. For example, the watch now shows you your heart rate zones during workouts. Your heart rate reading should be more accurate now thanks to a new multi-path heart rate sensor. You can actually see the different layout of the sensors on the new watches. Now, I actually thought the heart rate sensor on the Pixel Watch was already fantastic, so while a 40% claimed accuracy improvement seems like a good thing, I'm not so sure it needed to be as big of a celebrated feature when, again, Google already kind of had it right.
It's currently 11 a.m. I'm at the top of Manhattan, and today I'm actually going to walk the whole length of the island. It's going to take me pretty much the entire day, and I'm going to be tracking it on the Pixel Watch. I have 100% battery to start, and I'm going to see how long the watch lasts. I'm not optimistic, but maybe it'll prove me wrong.
What it maybe did not have right, but is now introducing on the Pixel Watch 2, is the ability to automatically detect, pause, and stop certain activities, say in case you forgot to launch a walking workout. Finally, there's now pace training for running, which is a feature that is relatively newer in the wide world of smartwatches compared to auto detection, so kudos to Google for that, I suppose.
I'm finally able to take advantage of the new heart rate zones feature on the Pixel Watch 2. I'm on a walk, but we are walking pretty much directly uphill. I know I can hear it in my voice that it is more strenuous than a regular walk, and now I'm in more of a moderate heart rate range for my activity.
Speaking of running, a big issue I ran into while testing the first Pixel Watch was battery life drain caused by workouts.
1 hour check-in, it's just after noon, and the Pixel Watch 2 battery life has drained from 100% to about 90%. Now in that same time with the original Pixel Watch, the battery life dropped 20% with continuous GPS use. So we're already off to a much stronger start, and I'm feeling more optimistic.
I also could only get the original Pixel Watch to last 24 hours with the always-on display turned off. Now Google says you can leave the always-on display enabled and still get a day's worth of juice. This is likely because of the switch to the Qualcomm Snapdragon W5 processor, which not only makes for a more responsive Wear OS 4 experience, but is more power efficient than what the Pixel Watch had before.
It is now about 5:30. I've just walked over 14 miles from the top of Manhattan to the bottom of Manhattan with the Pixel Watch 2. And after continuous GPS tracking for over 6 hours now, my battery life has gone from 100% to 35%. That's still about like a 10% decrease per hour. So it is a huge improvement over the original Pixel Watch. I'm very pleasantly surprised. And I have to say that was one of the things I was hoping for with this next gen model, and Google delivered.
The Google Pixel Watch 2 isn't exactly the smartwatch I was expecting to see. I really had to weigh the pros and cons, and since Google did have this past year to learn from initial feedback and make changes, I felt inclined to be a bit tougher on this version 2.0. On one hand, the watch is a big improvement for wellness tracking. It actually feels a lot more like a Fitbit in some ways, and that convergence is probably for the best. The safety features are a big plus as well, and it's important to note that it'll have Wear OS 4 exclusivity for a while, getting the newly optimized Google Calendar and Gmail apps. Then, on the other hand, a lot of people, including me, have complained about the limitations of the size and the bezels, and it's kind of weird to say, but it feels like those concerns weren't heard. However, thinking in terms of the future, it's become pretty clear to me that this is a half stepping stone to grab the attention of the first-gen holdouts. And if I had to guess, I think next year will be the year Google solidifies Pixel Watch as the Android smartwatch, with the types of upgrades that directly challenge the Galaxy Watch and maybe even the Apple Watch. I'd love to answer some of your Pixel Watch 2 questions, so if you subscribe and leave a comment, I'll be sure to get back to you. Otherwise, you can find me showing off smartwatches on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Tom's Guide. As always, this has been at Kate Kozich. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.